Updates on where your stimulus check is set to arrive.
And what changes the Pullman Police Department made to their policies. Murrow News 8 starts now.
From the Northwest Public Broadcasting Studios on the campus of Washington State University, this is Murrow News 8.
Hi, I'm Vonne Fair.
And I'm Asia Farrington. Welcome to Murrow News 8.
We have some updates on the stimulus check that is set to grace Americans' bank accounts. We go to our Murrow News 8 reporter with more information.
Major milestone in Washington.
The Senate being equally divided. The Vice President votes in the affirmative.
The American Rescue Plan Act is one step closer to President Biden's desk. Vice President Harris casting the deciding vote, something she'll likely do again, as Republicans take issue with nearly every aspect of the $1.9 trillion stimulus.
We know that we have to provide more relief. But to call this bill that's coming before us this week a COVID relief package, I think it's being dishonest with the American people.
Democrats are back to their old spending habits.
The scope of the challenge requires this size of a package. Americans who need help the most should get $1,400 checks.
Elsewhere this week, the president heard updates on vaccination efforts.
The 7-day average now of 1.3 million vaccines a day.
President Biden announcing his outlook for the spring.
This country will have enough vaccine supply, I'll say it again, for every adult in America by the end of May.
With the tie-breaking vote, Democrats could sign the stimulus package into law by mid-next week. For Murrow News 8, I'm Zach Anders.
Do you want to go watch a movie in person on the big screen? We go live to our Murrow News 8 reporter Ava Wainhouse at the Pullman Movie Theater with updates on when you can do just that.
Thanks, Asia. I'm here at the movie theater here in Pullman, and as of right now, this movie theater is opening today for the first time since the beginning of the pandemic. The showings are limited to only the weekends, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays for now, but that's hoped to expand in the later months when more movies are coming out. Employees will be wearing face masks and gloves and will be sanitizing each theater in between every showing. People who are coming to watch the movies are expected to wear face masks as well and social distance from other groups. Of course, a family of 5 or something like that, they can stick together when they are seated inside the movie theater, but they should stay distanced from other groups in the movie theater. Showtimes can be found at the website for Village Center Cinemas. This is Ava Wainhouse, Murrow News 8.
Thanks, Ava. As of today, there are 21 new cases of COVID-19 in Whitman County. All of the new patients are in the age groups 59 and younger. Today's new cases bring the total to 3,434 cases in Whitman County since the start of the pandemic.
Veterans in Western Washington of any age or health condition who get care from the VA Puget Sound will be eligible to receive the COVID vaccine. Soon, all 3 vaccines will be available to veterans at the Seattle and American Lake Centers. This is in addition to the groups of people in the next phase, which includes people who work in grocery stores, agriculture, and school, among others.
Idaho is launching a new system this month that will allow local residents to reserve COVID-19 vaccination appointments. The system, which requires patients to submit all of their health information in one place, is meant to help provide better communication between patients and healthcare officials. The system will also let patients know of the first available vaccine appointments. Idaho is expecting 13,000 new doses of the vaccine, which increases the state's vaccine total to more than 50,000 this week alone. Pullman PD has clarified what uses of their force their officers are allowed to use. Murrow News 8 reporter Ava Wainhouse has the story.
Pullman PD recently made a change to their policy regarding their officers' use of force. This change came as a response to the nationwide protests against the police this past year.
In 2020, I think there was, increased police scrutiny.
Eric Garner can't breathe. Sandra Bland can't breathe. Say their names.
Prosecute the police. No peace.
Peace. Something Pullman PD strives for here in the Pullman community. A recent policy change at the department clearly defines which uses of force Pullman officers are allowed to use.
In our policy, we've always been authorized to use the VNR, or the vascular neck restraint. We are not using chokeholds, and chokeholds are not authorized for anything less than deadly force.
If used properly, the VNR technique can restrict blood flow to the brain by putting pressure on the sides of the neck, ultimately rendering someone unconscious for about 10 to 15 seconds so police can safely put them in handcuffs. A chokehold, on the other hand, puts pressure on the trachea, and Pullman Police has never used this technique and doesn't plan to. But some people don't think the VNR should even be an acceptable use of force.
Police own the power over the people, so if the police have the power to knock you unconscious, then what if they accidentally miss the valve and you're dead?
There are times when the use of force is necessary, but a question here in Pullman is the use of force necessary when handling people who are under the influence of alcohol?
Everybody knows it's no surprise that we deal with a lot of alcohol-related issues. I think we all recognize that an MIP is, while it is illegal and is a crime, it is a pretty minor offense.
2 police officers approached us, and so there's a beer in front of me, and I wasn't sure if it was mine or not. And I took it and placed it behind my bag just as a quick instinct reaction, and they immediately came up to me and said, "You shouldn't have done that."
Our officers recognize it and handle it with a conversation more often than not.
MIPs, DUIs, any other type of crime here in Pullman, Pullman officers want their community to know if the use of force is necessary, it will be used in the safest way possible.
We're not going out looking to use force. We just want to make Pullman a safe community.
Speaking of safety, a WSU professor is creating a public safety survey here in Pullman. In front of Pullman PD, I'm Ava Wainhouse. Back to you.
The WSU Executive Budget Council is working on creating a new budget model. Jay Inslee's proposed budget for 2021 through 2023 is being outlined by Stephen Ballins, WSU's legislative representative. Ballins reports that the proposal would fully fund all capital budget requests, but would also cause a furlough for all faculty and staff during those 2 years. Looking into the next stimulus package, also known as the American Rescue Plan, Washington State would be granted $6.72 billion. Ballins said, quote, "If this were to come to pass, it would just totally change the state's budget outlook from deficit to surplus," end quote. The council plans to have their full assessment ready by May.
WSU Pullman students and faculty members discovered the connection between the Pullman campus and the Nez Perce tribe and Palace people. Thursday, Assistant Director of the Center of Native American Research and Collaboration, Ken Lokenskard, says that the WSU campus is located on the homelands of the Nez Perce tribe and Palace people.
The Clinical Psychology Graduate Student Organization is hosting an event called Coug Voices that will highlight the mental health journey of up to 15 students. The president of the organization, Rhianne Cunningham Chilton, said, quote, "Having students share their own stories about their mental health will help destigmatize discussions about mental health," end quote. Coug Voices will be live streamed on YouTube April 13th at 4 p.m.
Today is National Day of Unplugging. From sundown tonight to sundown tomorrow, this year's event will focus on spreading awareness about unplugging from technology. This year's National Day of Unplugging efforts will focus on safe, in-home and outdoor small group activities. Contests and charitable events located on the website will also take place to amplify social impact. Up next, what food truck is making a stop in Pullman this weekend?
And later, what convicted felon is expected to be released later this year? We'll be right back with Murrow News 8.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual. And she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, "Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you, and we'll figure it out."
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day, I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Me and my boy Matt had it good. He had catnip that was off the hook. But one day, he brings a girl home, and she's allergic to cats. Every sneeze was a nail in my coffin. Now I'm in a shelter. It's decent, but they don't even have Wi-Fi.
WSU researchers are finding a new way to make hard cider more nutritious. The WSU research team is currently creating a powder base with extra nutrients for the use to consume during the fermentation process. Incomplete fermentation can ruin a batch of cider, giving it an unpleasant smell and taste. Cider apples do not have as many nutrients as other fruits, like grapes, making it harder to ferment. This new powder will have additional amino acids. Then the team will look at different levels and types of nutrients that are available.
Miss Hetty's Barbecue, a food cart owned by Pullman teachers, will be open this weekend. The owners of Miss Hetty's Barbecue first started selling their Texas-style barbecue out of a food cart in Dismore's parking lot. The couple spends 30 hours preparing the meat before they open. At each opening, Pullman locals come to try the Southern food in the hundreds. The owners of Daily Grind Coffee House say they were booted out by their landlord. After almost a decade of working together, shared parking with the new Greek restaurant Yaya Nikki led to the South Grand Avenue location's closure, a decision they say wasn't their choice.
How are we doing, guys?
Good, how about you?
Not too bad. What do we have?
Mighty Dyke's family wasn't even given a chance.
Buy the whole lot, lease the whole lot, or you're done.
An ultimatum the small local business couldn't afford.
Can I get an autograph on that real quick?
I have never seen this happen to anyone else.
Their lease given to the business next door.
We've always paid on time. We've always been really compliant with whatever it is that he's wanted. We were given really no notice of about a month to get out of there.
With Yaya Nikki's opening next door, traffic got backed all the way into the street. They even tried putting in traffic cones to separate out the lots. It didn't work.
The owner of the Greek restaurant complained that his business was being affected by the shared parking space and asked if he would be able to lease the other half of the space to him.
After the boot, Daily Grind says landlord Craig Neal told them to take this sign down because it looks bad for the community. Madeline says he lives in Australia.
You're not even here. You don't see the community, you don't understand the community, and you have no idea how much of an impact this has made on them.
The landlord didn't respond to me in 2 separate emails, but told Moscow Pullman Daily News nobody foresaw these problems, and he regrets that a Pullman business had to close. With one location left, Madeline's concerned they'll struggle to serve demand and lose customers.
We're hoping that we're going to be a lot busier with the one stand and having 3 people in there working together instead of just 2.
Andrew Bartline.
They just came out of the blue.
Murrow News 8.
There's free tax help through volunteer program. Qualifying residents in Eastern Washington can receive help with their tax returns through Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program, or VITA. WSU and Whitworth University have joined forces to help people in our region with their federal tax returns. To qualify for the free assistance, individuals must generally earn $57,000 or less. The program is also a resource for taxpayers with disabilities or limited English-speaking abilities.
As of today, several Dr. Seuss books have risen to the top of Amazon's bestseller list. This is just days after the author's estate said it would stop publishing 6 books that contain racist or offensive imagery. The offensive books include Scrambled Eggs, Super, and The Cat's Quizzer, among other titles. The titles on the bestseller list include The Cat in the Hat and Green Eggs and Ham.
One of the 2 teens convicted in stabbing their friend for the fictional character Slender Man is expected to ask for release from a Wisconsin mental health facility. Anissa Wire is currently sentenced to 25 years in a mental health institution and has spent 3 of those years in the Winnebago Mental Health Institute. Wire and Morgan Geyser received maximum sentences after they pleaded guilty to luring their classmate Peyton Lutner into the woods, stabbing her 19 times, and leaving her to die. Wire is scheduled to appear Wednesday before the Waukesha County Circuit Judge.
Cougs take the diamond this afternoon in some great spring weather.
But how long will that last? We'll tell you when we come back.
Days, months.
Hey, I'm Jim from across the street.
Years.
I'd like to give you this.
A lifetime. Can rush by without realizing what we're missing. But it doesn't have to be that way. we have a choice to take action. Visit maketheconnection.net to find out more.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it.
It's a beautiful day here on the Palouse. We go to the weather wall with Josue Cuevas with more information.
Thanks, Vonne. Yeah, so weather's looking real nice. The big news for today is, of course, the high of 61 today. The highest we've had in a while, probably since September. So go out, enjoy the sun, some vitamin D. I hear it's good for the skin. So go out, enjoy the sun, go for a walk, but take a light jacket just because some 60 mile per hour wind are going to be hitting us. So some light jacket would be nice if you're going for a walk. Now, moving into tomorrow, we're going to need some jackets, so don't put them away just yet. We have a chance of rain and snow with a high of 44 and a low of 32. We still have some 10 mile per hour winds, so a little wind, but like I said, don't put away your jackets just yet. Moving across to the state map, now we're going to start with the west side over here. A shocker to absolute no one, it's raining in the west side with a high of 51 in Olympia and a high of 52 in Seattle. A lot of you are used to that already on the west side. Moving over to the center of the map, you can see right here, 59, a high of 59 for Yakima. So not as lucky as a high of 67 for the Tri-Cities. Now they're getting a lot of the spring out here. So now moving on over here to the east side where we live, Pullman, like I said, 61, pretty nice. But you Spokanites, 64. Lucky you, looking real nice out there for you guys. Now moving over to the 5-cast, our 5-cast right here, as you can see, chance of rain and snow on Saturday, high 44, a little chilly, so get your jackets out. Sunday, we still have a little chance of rain and snow as well, so recommend keeping your jackets on for that. Staying inside, a little cozy. Now starting Monday, got a high of 46. Now we're gonna go at the temperature a little bit high for that day. And moving over to our Tuesday, we got 45 as a high and 47 on Wednesday. So looking like Wednesday is looking our nicest day in the 5-cast. Now back to you guys.
WSU Sports Updates coming up next.
We'll be right back.
Dad, they took over my bedroom. Come on, come on. Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
There. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Can I tell you another one? So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it.
What's Beethoven's favorite fruit? Banana. What is a boxer's favorite drink? Fruit punch.
Good afternoon, guys. I'm Jake Knight with your sports. After beating them earlier in the season, the Cougars women's basketball team took the loss against the Arizona Wildcats last night. The Cougs struggled with 20 turnovers in the first 20 minutes and a mere 26.4% shooting from the floor. This loss kicks the Cougs out of the Pac-12 tournament, and they finished the season at 12-11, the first above 500 finish for the team in 7 years. The latest ESPN women's bracketology has WSU as a 10 seed in this year's March Madness. WSU baseball steps foot on the home turf for the first time this season against Seattle U for a 3-game set. The series was moved due to impending inclement weather on the west side of the state. Led by junior Kyle Manzardo, the Cougs are 7-1 and coming off a 4-game sweep of Dixie State last weekend. Manzardo enters the series with a hitting streak of 25 games dating all the way back to 2019, and he will look to tie the school record of 28 games by the end of the weekend. Head coach Brian Green is pumped up to be home.
Bill. And we're really excited. It's nice for this weekend, but it's also nice for us, with us just looking at Corvallis and Tempe, being able to take a break in between and get that extra day of practice at home and slow down a little bit. I think it's going to really help us. So really excited about it.
Junior pitcher Zane Mills enters the game with an ERA under 1 and toes the rubber today at 3:05 p.m. The Cougs women's rowing team takes to the water for the first time in 490 days. The schedule was released yesterday and has the Cougs facing top-ranked Washington this Saturday at Lake Las Vegas in Nevada. The race against the Huskies marks the first of 6 races the Cougs are scheduled for this season. WSU men's and women's cross-country took off earlier today in the Pac-12 championship. The women's race started at 11 a.m. with the men starting an hour later at noon. The best women's Coug finisher was Erin Mullins, who placed 13th in the field. The top men's performer was Zachary Stallings, who placed 18th. NBA fans, captains LeBron James and Kevin Durant drafted their All-Star teams yesterday. Here is a look at the starting lineups for both teams, with Giannis Antetokounmpo and Kyrie Irving being the first 2 selected. Rather than the full weekend of events, the Skills Challenge, 3-point and dunk contests, and the All-Star game itself are all set for this Sunday, March 7th. Mariners fans are getting a glimpse of the bright future so far this spring. Mitch Haniger, Kyle Seager, and Ty France hit back-to-back-to-back jacks yesterday in a 9-9 tie. Highly touted prospects like Jared Kelenic and Taylor Trammell have also gone yard this spring, and the M's are currently knotted up at 1 with the White Sox at Camelback Ranch. Did you get the COVID vaccine? Because this animal sure did.
And how beauty queens are staying COVID-free during this pageant season. More when we come back.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help, and slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Days, months,
Hey, I'm Jim from across the street.
years,
I'd like to give you this.
a lifetime can rush by without realizing what we're missing. We lose some of the best moments, some that may never repeat,
Come on.
or detach from people around us. Our loved ones grow used to this pattern, but it doesn't have to be that way. We have a choice to take action. It's never too late to live a full life again. Hear how many of us Vietnam veterans have managed our mental health and reconnected with our families. Visit MakeTheConnection.net to find out more.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, read your lease. No pets allowed. My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
It's no toddlers and tiaras, but Washington is holding its own pageant later this summer. Here's our Murrow News 8 reporter, Cristian Garza, with more information.
Make sure to practice your walk and get that perfect dress, because we have a pageant to put on. A local WSU alum was just named Mrs. Colfax for the Mrs. Washington pageant. Lorian Smith will represent Whitman County later this year and follow her dreams to compete for the title of Mrs. Washington America.
It doesn't matter what your age is, you can still go after those dreams no matter what they are, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
Pamela Colonel is the executive Washington State Director for the Mrs. Washington pageant and has been for the last 29 years since she won Mrs. Washington in 1993. Like many other things affected by COVID-19, the pageant had its own trials and tribulations. Now, normally during a pageant, a winner and two runner-ups are announced. The only difference between this pageant that happened during a pandemic and pageants from years past is the fact that contestants actually had to crown themselves outside on the hotel lawn.
I made a table out in front, a big long table, and then I put all three crowns and sashes. And so I had them go up and crown themselves. And we've never done it. It was I thought it was brilliant and kind of powerful.
The Washington State pageant prides itself on its ability to help people through its community service. So in order to prepare for this event, the contestants complete hours of community service by themselves and with the organization. Lorian completes at least 12 hours a week at the Colfax Fire Department as an EMT. The current reigning Mrs. American and WSU alumni Valerie St. John has this to say about the pageant.
It's all about friendship, empowering other women, because you feel so good when you're doing that, and volunteering for the community and truly giving back and having a blast while you're at it. I mean, who doesn't want to wear a sash and crown and help out the community and speak about some really important issues that are out there?
The Mrs. Washington for America pageant is set to take place in August of 2021. I'm Cristian Garza with Murrow News 8.
According to the New York Times, the San Diego Zoo gave 9 of their apes an experimental COVID-19 vaccine. Zoetis, a major pharmaceutical company, developed the vaccine in January. A troop of gorillas tested positive for the virus, and the zoo requested help from Zoetis. Among the vaccinated is an ape named Karen, who made history in 1994 when she became the first orangutan to have open heart surgery.
That's a really great story about that ape. It's good that they're getting vaccines, don't you think?
Yeah, of course. And like the weatherman pointed out, we're having an amazing day today.
It's a beautiful Friday.
Do you have anything planned?
Just some homework, and then I'll probably get out and enjoy the sun. What about you?
I haven't really decided yet. I've got a lot of midterms going on.
Yeah, it is that season. Thanks for watching. If you missed anything in this or any of our previous newscasts, you can always watch us on our YouTube channel.
More news can be found at nwpb.org/mn8. And you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Everyone have a good rest of your day.